6 months ago, Sarah was scrolling through Facebook Marketplace at 2 a.m., probably looking for a coffee table or something normal. Instead, she found this, a 1999 Bluebird school bus for $3,000. And instead of closing her laptop and going to bed like a reasonable person, she woke up her husband, Mike. Now they're driving 35 miles per hour down the interstate in a 40-foot yellow brick, wondering if they've completely lost their minds. Their friends think they're having a midlife crisis. Their bank account agrees with them. But here's the thing. Day one of the conversion, and Sarah and Mike have recruited their most enthusiastic and cheapest labor force, their kids. But the real work begins when the kids get bored and wander off.
Daddy knows something. What are we doing? We're just taking some screws out of the roof, baby.
Why are we doing this to the bus?
Because we have to make it a house.
Why did we even buy one?
So we can live in a bus.
Mike tackles the windows first. Each one a puzzle of rubber seals, metal frames, and 30 years of rust that definitely wasn't in a YouTube tutorial. Then comes the ceiling. What they thought would be a quick afternoon job turns into a 3-day battle against decades of road grime and insulation that seems to reproduce when they're not looking. "47 hours, 6 trips to Home Depot, and 1 minor meltdown later, they're left with this, a blank canvas that looks nothing like the cozy home they imagined, and everything like a metal cave they might have to live in." With the bus stripped down to its skeleton, Sarah and Mike get their first real look at what they're working with. And honestly, it's not pretty. 30 years of kids, spilled juice boxes, and winter road salt have left their mark. The floor looks like a connect-the-dots puzzle, except all the dots are rust spots, and the prize is structural integrity. Mike becomes intimately acquainted with every square inch of this floor, wire brush in hand. He attacks each rust spot like it personally insulted his mother. It's meditative, he tells Sarah. Sarah thinks he's lost his mind. 6 hours in, Mike's arms feel like jelly, but the floor is starting to look like actual metal again instead of abstract art. Then comes a washdown. Sarah turns their driveway into a small lake, scrubbing away 30 years of school bus memories with dish soap and determination. The final step, sealing it all with anti-rust paint. Every brush stroke is an investment in their future home's foundation. It's not glamorous work, but as that black paint goes on, something magical happens. Suddenly, it doesn't look like the floor of an old school bus anymore. It looks like the foundation of a home. Standing inside their gutted bus, Mike realizes he can barely stand up straight. At 6'2", he's not exactly a giant, but this 7-foot ceiling means he'll be living with a permanent hunch for the next however many years.
And 2 nuts in the center. When we cut this column, we'll cut it here. As the roof is raised up, we'll thread this nut up, keeping the roof in place until we can add square tube to all of the supports on the bus. Okay, back to the video.
So they make a decision that would make any structural engineer nervous. They're going to raise the roof. Not just a little, a full 1.5 feet, starting from behind the driver's seat all the way back. The moment of truth arrives on a Saturday morning. Mike fires up the angle grinder and makes the first cut. There's something both terrifying and exhilarating about cutting into what's supposed to be your future home. Then comes the lift. Using a collection of screw jacks that makes their garage look like a construction site, they slowly, carefully raise that 18-foot section of roof. It's a 3-person operation requiring the kind of coordination they usually only achieve when assembling IKEA furniture, which is to say, barely.
Perfect.
An hour later, they're standing in their bus with an extra 1.5 feet of headroom and a roof that looks like it's floating. It's equal parts terrifying and incredible. With 18 feet of roof hovering above their heads like a giant metal cloud, Sarah and Mike face their next challenge. Making 2 pieces of roof become one. The raised section needs to be trimmed to create the perfect slope that will connect seamlessly with the original roof. It's like trying to solve a 3D puzzle where the wrong answer means starting over. The cutting is the easy part. It's what comes next that separates the brave from the smart. Enter the metal bars, the spine that will hold their extended roof together. Each bar has to be precisely cut, positioned, and fitted. Then comes the welding. Mike's never welded anything bigger than a broken gate, but here he is, literally welding the roof back onto their future home. 6 hours later, they have what they set out to create. One continuous roof that rises from the driver's seat to the back of the bus. It's not perfect, but it's theirs. Their bus now looks like a giant yellow cheese grater, where there are gaps that invite rain, wind, and probably a few curious birds. First, out comes all the old window infrastructure. 30 years of metal brackets, rubber seals, and mystery hardware that seemed important until it didn't. Then the real stars of the show arrive. Custom metal sheets that will transform their Swiss cheese bus back into something that resembles shelter. Each sheet needs to be cut to fit its specific space. The window openings are standard, but the roof extension creates custom shapes that exist nowhere in any manual. Mike becomes a metal sculptor, cutting curves, angles, and shapes that would make his high school shop teacher proud or terrified. Installation day turns into an elaborate dance. Each sheet weighs just enough to be awkward, and lifting them into place requires the kind of coordination that tests even the strongest marriages.
Just needs to be persuaded.
Then comes the riveting. Each metal sheet gets attached to the bus's original panels with rivets that sound like tiny gunshots. It's loud, it's permanent, and with each pop, their bus becomes a little more solid.
We might keep the silver part for now, but we'll paint all of it later.
With all the gaps filled, their bus finally looks like a complete structure again. With the exterior prep work done, Sarah and Mike turn their attention to the inside. That beautiful black floor they painted weeks ago is about to disappear forever under the foundation of their new home. The floor system starts with a wooden frame, 2x4s that will create the skeleton for everything that goes on top. The frame goes together like a wooden puzzle. Each piece locks into place, creating a grid that will distribute weight evenly across the bus floor. It's not glamorous, but it's the foundation of everything they'll build. Next comes the insulation. Polypropylene sheets that look like giant bubble wrap, but promise to keep their feet warm on cold mornings. They roll it out like carpet, fitting it snugly between the frame pieces. The final layer is ICF boards, insulated concrete forms that will create the actual floor surface. By the end of the week, they're standing on what feels like a real floor. No more walking on metal, no more echo with every step. For the first time since they bought this bus, it feels like they might actually be building a home. The first window opening is terrifying. Mike stands there with a marker, measuring and remeasuring, because once he cuts this hole, there's no going back. Then comes the moment of truth. The window actually fits. After all that measuring and second guessing, the frame slides into place like it was always meant to be there.
Sweet. No.
Each window has its own personality. Some are standard rectangles, others are custom shapes that fit their specific vision. By the end of the week, their bunker has become a home. Light streams through every window, and for the first time in months, they can see outside from inside. It's amazing what a little natural light can do to a space. With windows installed, their bus looks functional, but it still screams school bus from a mile away. That familiar yellow paint carries 30 years of field trips, and it's time for a fresh start. Prep work begins with what feels like miles of masking tape. The primer goes on first, a coat that transforms their patchwork bus into something that looks almost intentional. Gray primer covers yellow paint, new metal, and old repairs with equal indifference. Then comes the white paint, the moment their bus stops looking like a school bus and starts looking like a home. Bumpers, trim pieces, and accents get a coat of black paint that will make the white pop and give their home some personality. With their bus looking magazine-worthy on the outside, Sarah and Mike turn their attention to the inside, where the real magic happens. Every cavity between the bus's metal ribs gets packed with insulation. Mike discovers that insulation has a personality. It expands when you don't want it to, compresses when you need it fluffy, and somehow gets everywhere despite their best efforts. With insulation in place, the wall framing begins. 2x4s create the skeleton that will hold everything, walls, cabinets, and most importantly, all the electricals. Then comes the electrical rough-in, the nervous system of their future home. Mike threads wire through the frame like he's performing surgery, each run carefully planned to power outlets, lights, and appliances they haven't even bought yet. The first partition wall is a big decision. Once it goes up, the sliding door installation is a puzzle that tests Mike's patience. The track has to be perfectly level, the door perfectly aligned, or it'll stick forever. Sarah holds the level while Mike makes tiny adjustments. The moment of truth, the door slides. Smoothly, quietly. After hours of adjustment, it works exactly like it's supposed to. It's amazing how much a wall can change everything. What felt like living in a hallway now feels like the beginning of a real home, with real rooms where real life can happen. With the first room proving that their plan actually works, Sarah and Mike gain momentum. Wall by wall, their bus transforms from a construction zone to something that's starting to resemble a home. Then comes the HVAC, the air conditioning that will make their metal home livable in any weather. The first vent hole is nerve-wracking. Mike marks it carefully, then cuts into their beautiful new ceiling. The lighting installation transforms everything. Each fixture brings a different kind of warmth. Their bus looks like a home, but it's missing the invisible magic that makes modern life possible. Running water and electricity that actually works. The electrical hookup requires cutting through their beautiful new paint job to reach the outside world. Mike marks the spot where their shore power connection will go, knowing there's no room for error. The water tanks go under the bus in storage bays that were meant for luggage, not infrastructure. Mike crawls around underneath, installing fresh water and gray water tanks that will define how long they can stay off-grid. The water pump is the heart of their system, a small device that will create enough pressure to make their kitchen sink work like a real kitchen sink. It's louder than expected, but it works. Water lines snake through the walls like arteries, connecting tanks to faucets, pump to fixtures. Each connection is a potential leak, so every joint gets extra attention. With the basic utilities working, Sarah and Mike turn their attention to energy independence. 400-watt solar panels will power their life off-grid. The panels bolt directly to the mounting system. Sarah holds each panel steady while Mike tightens the hardware, securing 1,600 watts of generating capacity to their roof. The DC wiring runs from each panel through a weatherproof entry point into the bus. Mike routes the cables carefully to avoid sharp edges that could damage the insulation. Inside, the charge controller mounts on the wall near the battery bank. This device will regulate power flow from the panels to prevent battery overcharging. The inverter converts 12-volt DC power from the batteries into 120-volt AC power for household appliances. Mike connects it directly to the battery bank with a heavy gauge cable. The first partition becomes the kids' room. Sarah and Mike begin installing 3 bunk beds that will maximize sleeping space in the compact area. Each bunk bed frame is custom built to fit the bus's dimensions. The bed frames go together with pocket screws and wood glue. Sarah holds the pieces steady while Mike drives screws, creating rigid connections that won't wobble or shift. With 3 beds installed, the room transforms from empty space to functional sleeping quarters. Each bed has its own reading light and small storage area. The white pallet boards cover the bed frames, creating a clean, modern appearance. Each board is cut to length and attached with finishing nails. The wall sections receive 2 coats of white paint. Sarah uses a brush for detailed work around the beds, while Mike rolls the larger surfaces. In the second partition, they focus on the ceiling treatment. Natural wood panels will create a warm, rustic atmosphere. The kitchen section begins with cabinet installation. Pre-built base cabinets arrive and need to be positioned precisely to maximize storage in the limited space. Each cabinet is leveled and secured to the wall framing.
So these are gonna be the drawers. We're playing doctor's office today.
The wooden laminate countertops arrive in sections. Mike measures each piece carefully, marking cut lines with a pencil before using a circular saw for precise cuts. The sink cutout requires precise measurement. Mike traces the sink template onto the countertop, then uses a jigsaw to cut the opening, filing the edges smooth. The sink drops into place with a tight fit. Mike applies silicone sealant around the edges to prevent water damage to the countertop underneath. The partition wall receives white wooden pallet boards for a clean, modern finish. Each board is cut to length and attached with finishing nails, creating vertical lines that add visual interest as well as the installation of trims. The adjacent wall becomes the second phase of kitchen installation. Mike measures the space between the existing cabinets and the wall corner to design the remaining storage. The cooker slides into place with minimal clearance on all sides. With the adjacent wall complete, the kitchen becomes fully functional. The cooker and refrigerator integrate seamlessly into the cabinetry, creating an efficient cooking space that maximizes every square inch. The bathroom requires complete waterproofing before any finish work begins. Mike starts by installing waterproof membrane sheets across all wall surfaces. The waterproof membrane comes in large sheets that need to be cut to fit each wall section. Mike applies waterproof sealant along each seam, creating a continuous barrier that prevents moisture penetration. The mud application creates a smooth surface for tile installation. He then spreads the compound evenly with a trowel, filling any imperfections and creating level surfaces. Tile installation begins with the bottom row. Mike uses a level to ensure the first row is perfectly straight, as it will determine the alignment of all subsequent rows. With the bathroom walls complete, he installs the hand washing sink. The sink connects to the existing water lines and drain system already roughed into the wall. Mike tests the sink by running water and checking that it drains properly into the gray water system. The ceiling panels also get stained to match the dark brown finish used elsewhere. Mike applies the stain evenly with a brush, working in the direction of the wood grain. Door trim covers the gap between the door frame and the wall finish. Finally, floor tile installation starts in the bathroom and continues throughout the entire bus. Mike begins with a center reference line to ensure the tiles align properly. Finally, they focused on creating the main door into the bus, utilizing wood with 4 glass partitions. Once it was done, it was painted white and installed. He also finished on creating the main seat, which underneath it was storage spaces. This was followed by the installation of kitchen area tiles. For children and families' entertainment, he installed wall brackets for the main room TV and then washed the bus, which was set for its first trip. Let's together enjoy this.